All right. Welcome, everybody. I'm doing weekly updates, Friday, 3 p.m. every week during Washington's stay-at-home order. There's a lot going on in the real estate world right now, and a lot of fears that maybe are justified, maybe are not. So I just want to go through a little bit of information with everyone and try and calm some of those fears, talk about what's actually happening in the market. There's a lot of people that think that because the of the stay-at-home order and all the restrictions on showings and everything, that real estate isn't happening, and that simply isn't true. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. And back to the beginning. Glitches. There's always glitches with live stuff. All right, so this is This Week in Housing for South King County. And as far as what's in the news today, this is what I personally have been waiting for. I am excited to see that Inslee has now allowed some construction projects as long as they adhere to the phase 1 construction COVID site requirements. It's a 30-point document that they have to follow all these restrictions, remain 6 feet, protective equipment must be provided by the contractor. If the protective equipment can't be provided, then the construction site has to close down. But right now we can do construction and get listings ready to go on the market again. I had a listing that was waiting to go on the market because we needed to get some contractors in there. So now we'll be able to go ahead and proceed with that. So I am pretty excited about that one. As far as market activity, this is for all of King County, and this is split up into residential and condo. You can see this new listings on the market for residential alone, 466. So yeah, people are listing. It's good to see these houses coming on the market. However, the pended listings are 646 for this past week. This is the past 7 days. If you combine these two, you can see the new listings coming on the market is being far exceeded by those listings that are going pending. So the inventory on the market, which was already in short supply before the COVID situation happened, now it's dwindling even more. So each listing that comes on the market, it's the star of the show. All eyes are on all the listings coming on the market because there's just not very much out there for sale. You can see we even had some come back on the market. So those might have been people that were really nervous about showing their home during COVID and wanted to like move out first so that when the showings were happening, basically they wouldn't be there and wouldn't have exposure to anything that might be brought through their property. And yeah, you can see that all of the listings sold down here, the 486, a lot of those probably went pending before the massive COVID panic hit. So really, to get a current situation, we're looking at the pended listings and the new listings coming on the market. So seeing that the pendings is still outweighing the new listings, we need listings to come on the market, and people are buying them. So showings and pending sales are up from the previous week. It's up 6.2% week over week. And that's data from Zillow. And you can see on the weekly showings pickup that since the basically the beginning of the year and coming up, and then the COVID panic hits and there's no showings. The darker line is last year's showings. You can see showings gradually increase as we reach spring. That's the general trend. But then the restrictions came into place and panic happened and very, very few showings happened. This is actually nationwide data. I should say that. But this is for showing time, which is the program that realtors often use to schedule showings of a house. So this shows that there was a huge dip and that showings are now picking up again. And obviously it's pretty far away from where it was last year, but with all the restrictions that are being put in place and the protective equipment, it's become safe to show, and realtors are really rolling with the punches on this one. And every problem that comes out, they're figuring a way to combat it. And yeah, the industry is adapting. You can see on the computer down here, I have my webinar class. I have another webinar coming up on Monday, this coming Monday, the 27th at 2 p.m. So go ahead and make sure you register for that. But you can see these are the types of ads that I'm receiving for materials for my work. And it's call for private showings only. There's no, the posts aren't allowed to be put in for the for sale signs in front of the house. So they're making A-board toppers so that we can still have signs in front of the house. And yeah, this industry is just adapting and as best as we can. A lot more Zoom calls. I have spent a significant portion of my week on Zoom calls or webinars, and that's not something that I really did much of before. So safety, you can see these are just quick snapshots of some of the documents that my company is using. They're having visitors register at listings and sign that they haven't had a temperature. There's also a showing questionnaire, registration and release that some sellers are wanting to have filled out before a buyer goes through a property. And really the question is, where are we going from here? The checkmark W, the flying W, these are terms, a lot of them are new terms that haven't been used in economy predictions before, but these are predictions for how quickly the economy will bounce back to where it was. A lot of the high ups or a lot of the really experienced economists are calling for this V-shaped, which is honestly the most ideal position that we could be in. We are in a recession right now. The stock market crashed and people lost their jobs, and there's a lot of stress going on in the world right now. And that's just how it is right now. But a lot of the really experienced economists, the really well-respected ones, are predicting this V shape. Yeah, so no one knows all of these, Wells Fargo, Morgan Stanley, they're how fast they think the quarters will, or where they think the quarters will be throughout the year. But most of them are predicting that once the pandemic calms down, we'll come back pretty quickly. So recession does not equal housing crisis. A lot of people hear recession and they think, oh, my house is going to be worth nothing. And that's simply not true. This is a graph of the last 5 recessions. And during 3 of the last 5 recessions, home values actually increased. There was an appreciation instead of a depreciation. And It's just that the 2008 one was the most intense because it was the housing economy that caused that crash. This, it's not, the crash isn't caused by the economy, it's caused by an event. Much like the .com and 9/11 crash. When the plane hit the building, a lot of people got scared. 9/11 happened and the stock market crashed. Everyone was staying home, not going out to facilities, and it was panic, and people were not spending as much because of that panic. But home values actually increased during that time. It was just the 2008 housing market crash that really hit the housing values. So we're expecting that home values will remain steady or even possibly increase over the course of the year. And if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My phone number and email are right there on the screen. I really love talking about real estate and answering your questions. I want to give a plug for my first time homebuyer class coming up on the 27th, Monday at 2 p.m. Make sure you register on the Eventbrite link so you can get the access code. But I really encourage you that if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm here for you. There we go, stop share. Okay, so honestly, I really just want to encourage you to reach out if you have questions, because it really isn't as scary as the media is making it sound some of the time. So, all right, well, I will be back here next week at 3 p.m. on Friday to give you any updates on what happens between now and then. Again, I'm pretty excited about that construction being able to come back into play. So thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next week.